Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Latini, Internship and Business Outreach Coordinator here at Monadnock United Way. I'm honored to be one of two facilitators today. So I'd like to begin by asking everyone in the room a question. Raise your hand, right, show of hands, if you or someone you know has struggled to find childcare in this region, after school care, preschool, summer camp, right? Maybe not you or someone you know, so look around, keep them raised, let's look. Right? A lot of us. So what this tells us is that it's not a rare issue, it's a shared one. And the impact is bigger than any one family. This graphic tells the story, and it starts with turnover. You can see the graphic here. Staff leave at much higher rates than other fields in childcare, mostly because of low pay and burnout. When programs can't keep staff, that leaves New Hampshire children without childcare spots, right? There's not enough workers to care for kids. And what does that mean? Parents are forced out of the workforce, right? We have every month 17,300 New Hampshire caregivers not working because they're piecing together childcare. And what that equates to is $114 to $178 million in lost wages every year, left right on the table. What does this mean? It's a huge loss, not just for families, but also for our economy. Millions of dollars, right? Kids without spots. So the story is clear. Turnover leads to fewer spots, fewer workers, and lost income. The truth is, childcare is not optional. These systems allow families to work, children to thrive, and communities to grow. And when they break down, we all feel it. But here's the good news. We're not just naming problems. That's easy, right? We are building solutions. Monadnock United Way is working with partners across the region, leveraging more than $1.5 million in federal funding to strengthen childcare and after-school pipelines. To begin, let's look at where this pipeline starts, early childhood education. I'm pleased to hand it over to my co-facilitator, Christine Trainer. She is a workforce development specialist, and she's going to introduce our first panel.
Hi, first panel. How is everybody? My name is Christine Trainer, and I am so excited to be here with you all today to moderate this panel discussion on the amazing work that is being done here for the early childhood education workforce in the Monadnock region. Deirdre, Roberta, Jen, and Lauren, would you please join us up here? So our focus is one of the most critical strategies for strengthening the workforce, and it begins with building a pipeline with the local CTE programs in high schools. One of them is represented here with Keene High School, and boosting retention through educator development. So through this approach, we are really demonstrating the viability of careers in ECE. And so by establishing a pipeline for educators that begins with high school and pairs that with strong educator development, like mentorship and training opportunities, ensures that all educators have the skills and the confidence to stay and succeed in the workforce. So our panelists will share how these approaches and strategies address immediate staffing needs, but also create long-term sustainable solutions for our workforce. Deirdre, hi. How has the history of early childhood education shaped the current workforce challenges, and in what ways has the Monadnock United Way and Keene State College collaborated to improve retention, training, and recruitment of early childhood educators in our region?
Thanks, Chrissy. I'm so glad to be here today. I will be reading because we're timed, and I want to make sure I get everything said. But let me begin by sharing our evening last night at Winchester Learning Center. I was meeting there for a professional learning community for pyramid model practices. Monadnock Community Pyramid Model exists because of funding from Monadnock United Way. Last night, as we gathered with a group of 45 plus teachers, assistant directors, special educators, early interventionists, We were there to learn and share ideas for bringing social and emotional supports outside. We then took a walk through the nature park, an exquisite outdoor trail and play area for children and the community. Teachers shared how they use this space for children and the benefits of being in nature. I left grateful not only to have doubled our attendance of these professional learning communities, but importantly, we have teachers that are eager to meet together, grow and develop at their rate, and better themselves for the lives of young children and families. And this was at 6 p.m. At night. Many early childhood educators arrive to their work shift at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. So you ask about the challenges. At present, we don't have the federal government providing early care and education centers with the funding needed, so families carry the burden. Professionals enter the early childhood education career to make an impact on children's development and to support families. We recognize the value of fostering social and emotional learning, creating learning environments to inspire curiosity and exploration, and build foundational skills for continued learning. We play a critical role in lifelong learning. We are called the workforce behind the workforce, and child care centers were considered in the essential worker category during the pandemic. Besides providing early care and education, we are a hub for other sectors such as early intervention, health, nutrition, and mental health support. We've already discussed the challenges. There's a discrepancy in wages with our counterparts in elementary education, despite the role we play in child development education. And due to these low wages, we see a high turnover rate, and this causes instability in our community, especially with the continuity of care for young children. Directors are spending their time hiring teachers, and they don't always have the qualifications needed. So this impacts the consistency of the program. We're always starting over, recruiting and retaining teachers. We need increased funding, equitable compensation, and professional development opportunities. This is where complete pathway to career model comes. First, I thank Dr. Treadwell and Dr. Oram from Keene State College. They were instrumental and had the forethought to enhance the field of early childhood education in our community. We partnered with Monadnock United Way for the congressionally directed spending funding through Senator Shaheen's office. And this has honestly been a highlight of my career. I said it when we began, and I'm saying it toward the end of our grant. I have met amazing people in our community, and our community thrives because of Monadnock United Way. They are a constant source of inspiration, innovation, and professionalism. Through the congressionally directed spending grant, we've supported educators across the region and given them an opportunity to develop where they are. This means working with high school students in early childhood, supporting first and second year teachers as they enter the workforce, developing educational pathways that are comfortable and meaningful to teachers, and ultimately providing high quality programming in a community. The complete career pathway provides child development associate credentials, and Roberta will talk about that in a little bit, where we can support high school students, early childhood educators to increase their training. And after high school, they can receive 6 credits at the community college or enter the workforce as an assistant. The Emerging Professional course, The Successful Teacher, was developed by Keene State College and Child Care Aware. Directors around the area were discussing how teachers needed more fundamental training before working at their center. This course is directly related to the teacher's day-to-day work and includes training sessions, practice-based coaching, and an opportunity for the group to learn together. The Child Development Associate Credential cohort, at the beginning of our grant, we offered the CDA this credential individually and soon created cohort models. And these models have been very successful because educators want to be together, they want to talk about their work, and under the strong guidance of some of our mentors have been very successful in completing that. We provide tutors for teachers taking their first college course, pay for Fast Track, which is a training over at River Valley Community College, where teachers can be trained and get 12 credits in a quicker time than it typically takes. And we developed a degree in 3, an early childhood program at Keene State. We also support our teachers. One of the questions that we had from the task force was, how do we support teachers to embrace their lifelong learning and quality improvement? We've had very special evening trainings, thanks to Chrissy, supporting outdoor education. Susie Spickle from the Harris Center shared her insights about the importance of outdoor education and discussed her book, Forest Magic. We had additional presenters creating and singing as breakout sessions. And we sponsored the development of the Pyramid Model Outdoors by Tammy Vittum. This book is just beautiful, and all of our educators in the region are going to receive it. We have a second printing that we are able to pay for. So the first and last universal health care, the first and last universal early care and education funding was during World War II, when the Lanham Act was enacted to support women in wartime workforce. Child care programs were subsidized and granted $52 million from August 1943 through February 1946, which is equal to more than $1 billion today. We don't have universal early care and education, but we do have a community that knows the work that needs to be done and collaborates to get it done. I think the task force that's met for over 4 years, Liz LaRose, Chrissy Trainer, Ellen Tate, Shirley English from the Monadnock United Way, my colleagues at Keene State College, and all of the educators, early educators in our community who are benefiting but also contributing greatly to the work. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Deirdre. And I can attest to the energy in this region. It has been very compelling, and I can tell you that the educators continue to show up for these professional learning and development experiences. And like on a Monday night, I've done a lot of event planning and recruitment in my career, and this is amazing, the number of people that show up after work on a Monday for this kind of thing. So it is a true testament. Okay, thanks, Deirdre. Roberta, I would love if you could tell us how you have led and mentored the CDA candidates through the credentialing process, and how do you think the access to this career pathway really influences retention in ECE?
So I've had the pleasure of coaching and mentoring 35 CDA candidates from 7 different childcare centers in our region. And the influence of the CDA on staff retention is clear. Research supports that any employee who feels confident, competent, and supported in their professional growth has a higher likelihood of being retained, and this holds true in early childhood. Staff who are valued by their directors and communities are far more likely to remain in the early childhood field. Among the 35 candidates that I've supported, only 3 have left the field. That's a turnover rate of 8%, which is well below the state and national averages. They remain dedicated to early childhood here in the Monadnock region, with many receiving promotions, raises, bonuses, and professional recognition. And last night, where we had over 40 early childhood educators on a Monday night show up for our training, just shows you their dedication and commitment to this field. I've seen CDA candidates from the start of the process shift their perspective from seeing early childhood as a job to embracing it as a career with a future. Many discovering that they know and do way more than they realized. I've personally watched teachers come into this program very unsure and uncertain if they can even complete the work, and leave confident and excited, just blown away with what they've learned and they're able to implement in their classroom. And I love watching when that switch flips and that spark ignites, and it just gives them the confidence so needed for retention. At my own center, the Winchester Learning Center, 7 staff members have participated in the CDA cohort. Of those, 4 have enrolled in or completed college coursework. 2 of them who told me they would never take a college class, they just couldn't do it. And with the mentorship program, they did it. And not only did they did it, they ended up with A's and B's and a lot of confidence. This has allowed us to open a very small school-age program and expand our license from 60 to 79, creating a bright future for everyone. One of the keys to success of the CDA program has been the funding support. By covering the cost of the program, candidates do not have the barrier of debt. That often prevents professional growth in our field. Another key to the success of this program has been the guidance of a coach and mentor. Each candidate has been able to move forward at their own pace, making the program both accessible and highly effective. Candidates meet in a cohort and support each other. This builds community, which is another retention indicator. It's a joy to see the candidates support each other and help each other out. This CDA initiative has built a pathway for the future of early childhood in the Monadnock region. It's strengthened our workforce, which I've seen firsthand, enhanced our staff retention, and elevated our profession. We are deeply grateful for the opportunity and the continued support that makes this work possible, and we thank all of you for being a part of this success.
Thank you, Roberta. Those are some truly impressive numbers, and I think the retention speaks for itself. We want to retain educators in this region, really, truly across the field, but that's just one more bright spot over here in the Monadnock region. So I'm going to move on to Jan Antashevitz from Keene High School. How is Keene High School supporting the ECE pathway?
Thank you. At the Cheshire Career Center, we have a 2-year program called Careers in Education. Students can enroll as early as their sophomore year, and in the first year of the program, we're focusing on the history of education, child development, guidance, the educational theorists, and what is teaching all about. Students have the opportunity to practice hands-on in our laboratory preschool classroom, and they are the ones who conduct observations on the children. They research lesson plans, they implement their lesson plans, and then we reflect and we talk about what went well, what could we do better. The second year of Careers in Ed is when I really try to base that curriculum on their individual interests. So this past school year, I had a student who really thought she wanted to be a middle school math teacher. So she went and spent time learning, what is that all about? What am I gonna do day to day? She came back to me and she said, but I really like early childhood. And so she actually ended up getting her CDA through our program as well. So she's going to start her career with experience in middle school as well as early childhood. We also have the opportunity to tour many of the centers and schools throughout our community. I try to get students out there and learn from others. And every time we go out, there is a familiar face that I see, a former student or somebody who came through our program. Including today, I look around the room and I see some familiar faces. It's always rewarding to see students use the information that they have gained from class and then put it into their career plan. Students who would like to concentrate in early childhood have the opportunity to create their own teaching portfolio in class, and then this portfolio is what will help them obtain their CDA. They also can use this portfolio to get college credits or just help gain employment right out of high school. This past school year, we had 15 students who participated in getting their CDA. They used their portfolio, they had a validation visit, and then we took a class field trip to Rescue Inc. in Vermont, where they all had to sit for the exam. Getting the CDA, I watched students build their confidence in the classroom. It created summer employment for some of my students. And today I have Lauren French with me, who's going to talk a little bit about her experience. She's one of the students who earned her CDA last year. She's also involved in a work-based learning opportunity, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit more.
Hi, this program has had a major impact on both my life and my future goals. It gave me the chance to earn my CDA, which not only helped me get a summer job, but also gave me the confidence to start building my career early. Now, I am a part of work-based learning at Keene High School, where I leave school to go to work and gain valuable hands-on experience in the field I want to pursue. Because of this program, I feel more prepared for my future and motivated to keep growing in early childhood education.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, ladies. The work you're doing here to strengthen the ECE workforce is really amazing, and I thank you all for being a part of that. Stephanie, back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you to our early childhood panelists for showing us how these systems are being strengthened with their credentialing program. So let's continue the story on to the next stage, out of school time, or what we call after school care. Again, like early childhood, this is not optional, right? This is not an extra. It'd be great to have after school care. Parents, if some of you are parents or grandparents who work, right, you know that after school care is essential because not all of our jobs end at 2:30 p.m. So through the Monadnock Region After School Partnership Program, MRAP, we love acronyms, right? This MRAP, we are tackling two challenges at once. We are giving high school, college students, and career changers, that means others in our community who may not be students, paid, hands-on experience in the field. And through that, we are strengthening after-school programs with a workforce that they desperately need. Our first person is Samantha Hill. She is part of the, you are the, tell
I am the Monadnock Youth Coalition, but I'm umbrellaed under the YMCA.
Thank you. I didn't want to say of the Keene YMCA, but she is housed under the Keene YMCA. Samantha, can you describe the evolution of after-school programming at the Keene Y, and how have these MRAP interns supported your team's capacity and quality of after-school programs?
Yeah, when people think about the YMCA, many think of gymnastics or swimming lessons, but one of our longest and most impactful programs is after school. Over the years, after school has transformed alongside the needs of our community. What once began as a structured childcare has grown into a holistic model that nurtures academics, social emotional learning, and healthy living. Today, our after school programs are more than just a safe space for children to go after the school bell rings. They're intentional spaces where kids can build resilience, form meaningful relationships, and discover interests that prepare them for lifelong success. A part of what allows us to do this work at such a high level has been our partnership with MRAP. While they have supported us in many ways, the paid intern program has been truly transformational. The interns not only spark new ideas, but also give us the bandwidth to expand our vision and serve more youth. Through their work, we've been able to deepen our focus in mental health awareness, prevention strategies, and community engagement that are critically important for the youth we serve. Interns have led clubs, built direct connections with kids, and even taken on lead for our community events for healthy kids. Ariana right here has done that. Their impact shows not only in the joy they bring to children every day, but also the fresh perspective they bring and how after-school programs can continue to grow and meet future needs. For me personally, mentoring these interns, Freya, Luna, Ariana, has been one of the most rewarding parts of this partnership. Seeing them gain skills, build confidence, and try new things in a safe environment has been truly inspiring. In many ways, we're not just shaping the next generation of youth, but we're also growing the next generation of leaders. That's the power of this work. It's not only about serving kids today, but building a community where every child and every young leader has the tools and support they need to thrive.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for showing us how after-school programs are adapting and growing. Now let's hear from someone who experienced this firsthand, an intern who stepped into the field through MRAP. Ariana, how has MRAP shaped your career goals and your personal growth? What did being in the field offer you that classroom teaching could not?
Thank you so much. Last spring, I was an intern at the YMCA working with their after-school program. This gave me an opportunity to be in action. This opportunity helped me feel confident not only with children, but also in general in my everyday life. I've never been super outspoken, but this internship helped me grow social skills, working with others, and building confidence. Working in a field of your choice before going to post-secondary education or college can help a lot. This is because working in a field and reading or talking about it is different. Oftentimes, I will be asked what I would do in a certain situation with a child, but actually implementing it and navigating situations with children is much different than saying what you would do in theory. This is because every child is different. Knowing that all children are different makes it difficult to go about all behaviors in one way, especially when you have a group of children facing different stages of development. Working with children is a gift in many ways. Even when I was having a really hard day, I could always count on something bright happening when I showed up to the after-school program. The second day I showed up to the after-school program, this kid ran up to me to give me a giant hug. This showed me that every single day has impact. I may have only been there for a small amount of time, but this opportunity had a very big impact on me.
Thank you, Ariana, for sharing how this program has shaped your own career and personal path. Finally, let's look at how schools are helping more students access opportunities like MRAP. Richard, how is the Cheshire Career Center helping students access real-world experiences like MRAP? And why does this matter for our region's future?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Richard Town, Director of the Cheshire Career Center at Keene High, and it's a great question, and it's one of the things that I am passionate about, career technical education as opposed to comprehensive ed. Spent a lot of my career in comprehensive ed, but started out my career in career technical education. And certainly the Cheshire Career Center, when I think about the support that it offers this community with regards to supplying a pipeline for the things that make this community strong, which are jobs, education, and certainly healthcare and housing. And the Cheshire Career Center is doing our part to make sure that we are helping to sustain that healthy economy and healthy lifestyles here in this region. And we support programs like this through our work-based learning opportunities. Research has shown that students who start out their career with an industry-recognized credential like a CDA are more likely to stay in the business and stay in the field and continue their education further to further advance their career and support these efforts. And nationally, about 3/4 of the students who complete career and tech ed programs like our career and education program go on to college and finish college, which is much higher than the national average of about 50% of regular high school graduates who go on to college or pursue their education beyond high school. And that's certainly something that supports efforts like this in this community. And having a work-based learning program at our school is much different than what students get through the regular comprehensive education, where we have a school counselor who is dedicated to connecting opportunities like these programs to our Career Center programs directly. And many students don't have access to that sort of thing unless they go through a Career Center program that is able to connect these programs and employment opportunities to the education program that they receive at the high school during the day. And it's a great opportunity that career and tech students have that many students don't have. So we really appreciate these efforts and appreciate the support that the school district has provided by providing a dedicated person to connecting those two things together. And that alleviates that responsibility from the teacher having to make that connection. Because we want to be really purposeful about what we do with our daytime programs and purposeful about directing students to those opportunities that will not only enhance their career opportunities, but also support what we need to have in this region to make it a healthy and strong Monadnock region. So that's what we're doing to support that effort.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you to our after-school panelists for showing us how after-school programs are shaping both the workforce and the lives of young people. Together with the work happening in early childhood, we can see the full picture, from the first classrooms all the way to after school and beyond. To help us close with outcomes and next steps, I'm turning back to Christine.
So far, our work has supported the completion of over 50 CDA credentials in this region, and we have over 40. Yeah, it's awesome. Nice work, everyone. And so we have over 40 centers in this region, and we did a staffing and capacity survey earlier this year, and there's only 8 centers that still have classrooms that are closed due to staffing. So that is a really big win, and I think that we can draw a dotted line to the CDA work and the credentials here. Back to you, Stephanie.
And in the MRAP program, the numbers speak for themselves. In 1 year of operation, we have placed 36 interns across 13 after-school sites in the Monadnock region, and not just in Keene. Hinsdale, Winchester, Fitzwilliam, Troy. These interns have helped programs stay open, supported staff, and created more opportunities for kids to learn and grow. At the same time, interns have discovered their own career paths in education and human service. These are the seeds of long-term resilience, investments that help families today and build the workforce of tomorrow. If you would like to dive deeper, our community impact report, and they are on the table outside, they share more stories and details from this work. So from cradle to career, Monadnock United Way, with all of our partners, are reimagining what's possible. So I want to thank you all for being part of that work.